So, hi, my name is Kerry. Welcome to Into the Realm. Just a little bit about me. Uh, I live in the Northwest, kind of in Washington State area, and started my journey, my spiritual journey, when I was about 7 or 8 years old. My grandfather had passed. My parents did not let me see him while he was in the hospital, and that was probably a good thing. And basically, I was in a sleep state, and he came and joined me when I was about 7 or 8 years old. We did some walking along the river and had an amazing experience. That was kind of my first recall of going into the spiritual, the clairvoyance world. Um, since that time, I've done a lot of work with a lot of people, a lot of inner work, a lot of spiritual work, with a variety of people. Very grateful. So many people have helped me along my path. I owe a lot to them and love them dearly. I could name a bunch of them, but there's just too many. None of us make it on our own, so we all need each other. And so I'm grateful for all the work that they've helped me to get to where I'm at. And I'd like to today, I want to open up and have discussions in this podcast. We're going to talk about clairvoyance. We're going to talk about paranormal. Um, I would like to make it so that it's not such a an uncommon discussion, and that's where I'm at. And I'd like to be able to share a great experience that I had with some amazing people that I met through some spiritual friends. Um, Today we're going to be having on a couple of great guests. They're in Montana, and it's Mary and Trey. And excuse me. And we're welcoming them. This is our first time. We've known each other and talked through text, through phone, through the realm, through a lot of experiences that we've had together that we're going to cover today. We never really got a chance to see each other until today. Today is our first day we get to see each other's faces, and I'm really excited about it. It's so good to see them, and we share a lot of love. We're a brother and sister all the way, and the more words that I can say how much I appreciate you guys taking the time to share your experience with us here. And I'm just very grateful for you guys taking the time again. Um, so briefly on the paranormal aspect of things, just a little background. I've worked with a couple of teams over the years. I've worked with the Northwest Paranormal Research Group, with BB and Jay, amazing people. That in itself would be an amazing story and podcast. And also with the ops team, Mary, that's her name. She's in charge of the ops team that's over on the Olympic Peninsula. Amazing people, love her dearly. So we've done investigations together. I've worked with the paranormal for many years now, and in what I call into the realm, being able to go tap in and to experience and find answers and wisdom and many things that are up to the full us to share. And at this point here, I want to introduce our guests. And again, I thank you. It's so good to see you guys. It's amazing that we've talked and known each other for so long. We're so connected, love each other so much, and yet here's our first time getting to meet. So
Mhm.
thank you so much for coming on board. Excuse me there. And if you would just a real brief introduction of who you are, please. Okay, Mary.
Yeah. I'm Mary. I live in Montana. I have 5 kids. Me and Trey have been married for 20 years.
Nothing about any of your spiritual.
Well, he said just an introduction, right?
Uh,
Did you want more?
Um, yeah, just if you just share a little bit of that you were of your spiritual,
Oh,
excuse me,
I
of
guess
your spirituality.
my whole, even when I was little, I could sense things like if there was like a bad energy around, and like I just knew things sometimes. But I also was raised Mormon, where you're taught like anything of supernatural is not good, So I would try to ignore it and not dive into any of it because I felt like I shouldn't, like it wasn't a good thing. And it wasn't till I got older and it didn't go away that I thought, how can I have something like this happening if it's bad? Like, why would that just be who I am, you know? And then I started
Hmm.
to just accept it. And then one time I was like, I want to meditate, and I've never meditated before. And we got the whole family together. We're like, we're gonna start meditating. So we had all 5 kids, and we're sitting in a circle on the floor in the living room, and we'd never meditated before. So we just look online and got these little chants, and we told the kids, if you're not going to take it seriously, then just remove yourself, just so you don't disrupt the rest of us. And we're sitting there, we've got our little hands like this, cross-legged, and we're like saying like or lamb. Like we were going through some, and my middle child, he all of a sudden just starts giggling and he goes, I can't do this. I'm out. And he just left the room. But the rest of us did it. But the weird thing was when we were done, I felt physically ill. Like my stomach was all upset, and like I just felt like drained. And I asked Trey, I'm like, do you feel weird after meditating? And he's like, no, I feel good. And I was like, I don't. I'm like, I feel really sick right now. So then I looked up online, like, um, do people get sick after meditating? And then it said you can if you have certain gifts. And that's where like it really opened up for me.
Well, that's it. That is interesting. I hadn't heard that. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
So you knew there was something going on, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying that we want to make it a more common conversation with people about the paranormal and clairvoyance and all the other gifts that are out there. And what I'd like to do now is just do a quick introduction with Trey, just so that we can kind of get a feel for where he was at, if we
Yep,
could.
absolutely. Well, appreciate having us on again. It is great to meet you. Trey, born and raised Montana, fifth generation Montanan. I don't. I feel like I've really had a lot of people that have a lot of energy, that clairvoyance type stuff around me. I don't really feel like I have it, but I definitely feel like I'm have a lot of it attracted to me. Like I'm a pretty good conduit to different things wanting to tap into me, I guess, so to speak. But as far as that, I have my healer that would like to know more about how to deal with that kind of stuff. And going
Mhm.
through, I mean, obviously we'll get into it more, but yeah, just how we connected with you, I obviously had something attached to me, and it's just been with the work of, Mary really recognizing it was the start of it. And then everything blossomed from there to Tyler and Dawn and then you. And yeah, it's been a journey, but it's been fun. When it wasn't bad, it's been great.
You said it's much better now,
Yes,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Much better now. Excellent, excellent. All right, excellent. So, let's go ahead and let's go down the path together on this journey. We'll have some fun and cover it as best you remember. So, at this point here, I just want to point out that we're going to ask Mary to share her perspective and Trey's perspective of what occurred on this journey of the paranormal and all the other things that were involved, the other clairvoyance that was initiated through our experience together. So Mary, I'm gonna just ask, so briefly, could you just kind of lay out what was happening, just briefly, kind of here's what was happening, and then how you found me and how we found each other.
Okay. Well, it started things way before we connected with you. Things started going weird in the house. Like, pictures would fall off the wall, lights would flicker a lot, and we'd never had anything like that before. And I mean, we've lived in this house for 18 years. Um, like it in the middle of the night, you'd hear like 3 knocks on the door. And it this went on, and the kids would see things and talk about stuff, and it went on for a long time before, because it never scared me. Like, it was just, like, kind of you got kinda used to it, but I never felt like an evilness to it, because usually I can feel
Right.
bad things, like if
Mhm.
something's evil, and it didn't feel evil to me, so I ignored it for way too long because it just made me comfortable with it. But then it started to escalate a little, and I remember Trey in his sleep, doing he started like getting mean to me in his sleep. Like he would, if he was touching me and he'd be dead asleep, he'd pinch me. Like he'd pinch my leg really hard, or he'd pull my hair. Like if his hand was by my hair, he would just like pull my hair in his sleep. And I said to him, I'm like, you're getting really violent in your sleep, like joking around. I'm like, it's weird. And that went on for a while. And then he just started getting like angrier, and his personality changed, and like just this darkness came over him. And
Mhm.
my mom
Yeah.
also, I know she has things just like me, where she senses things and knows things, and she noticed it too. She's like, "What is up with Trey? Like, he doesn't seem the same. Like, he's dark. He seems dark." And I'm like, "I know." I'm like, "I it's not good." Well, then, um, it kept getting worse, and then it finally came to a head one time because he was working out of town, and we got in a fight on the phone, and he told me, he's like, "I just want a divorce," and he hung up on me, and he'd never said that to me before, and I was just, like, shocked, like, "What is happening?" Like, and the next day he calls me all upset, and he's like, "I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why I said the things I said last night." And then he's like, "It's almost like I feel like I'm possessed." And when he said that, a light bulb just came off in my head. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why did I not think about that ever? Like, it just didn't even click to me. So then I'm like, that's exactly what's happening. So I'm like doing research online, and I'm like, we got to get rid of this thing, whatever is happening. And, so we called this one healer person that my sister-in-law knew, and he did a thing with us over the phone. Oh, before that, when Trey got home from work, I found online this little, YouTube thing that said it gets rid of entities. And so Trey
Yeah.
was laying on the bed, and I played this thing for him, and he, like, was asleep, but his body was just twitching like crazy while I was playing this. Like, he was just
Mhm.
doing all sorts of crazy things, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh," and it was scaring me watching him, and he had his hand on my leg, and he was just pinching into my leg, and it was, like, mad, like, mean pinching, and then all of a sudden, he just sat up, but his eyes were still closed, and he growled at me, like,
Oh my
and,
lord.
oh, I screamed because I was just sitting over him, and his face, like, contorted, like, he almost looked like the Joker or something, and he literally growled at me,
That's
scared me so bad. I screamed, and I, like, hit him, and I'm like, "Trey," and he opens his eyes, and he's like, "What?" And I just started crying, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like, this is worse than I thought, like, you just growled at me." So, we called this healer guy, and he walked us through this stuff, and we thought, "Okay, this worked," and he's like, "Yeah, I cleared it." Well, that night was the worst night of my life because we did not clear it, and it made whatever it was very angry. So we went.
what?
Yeah, you've never heard this stuff, have you?
I've never no, I've not there's so much I have
We
not
we
heard.
were saving
This
the
is
good
intriguing to me.
stuff.
Go
We were
ahead.
No,
saving the good stuff for the
that
book.
was the stuff before you. So then, um, that night we go to bed, and Hunter, I think, was 4 or 5. That's our youngest. And, so Trey's in the middle, I'm on the side, and Hunter's on the other side of Trey sleeping because Hunter could s would has always been able to, like, see things, like, since he was, like, 18 months old, he'd see, like, a man in our house, and, like, he could see things, and so he was sleeping in bed with us, and as soon as Trey went to sleep, all of a sudden, I felt his elbow in my back, like, very threatening, and his elbow is just digging and digging and digging into my back, almost pushing me off the bed, and his teeth are grinding, and I can hear his teeth just grinding and grinding, and I'm like, "Oh,
My God.
no." I'm like, "It's not gone, and it is not happy." And so finally I woke up Trey, and I'm like, "Trey, we gotta put Hunter in the middle." I'm like, "Whatever it is really mad, and it's, like, trying to hurt me." So we put Trey in the middle, or not Trey, we put Hunter in the middle, and then we're going to sleep, and then all of a sudden, and this, oh, it always makes me cry because it went after Hunter then, because Hunter was next to me, and so Hunter is asleep and laying next to me, and he starts, like, doing this contorting stuff and, like, moving all weird in his sleep, and I'm just looking at him, and I'm like, "You have got to be kidding me." And
This was Hunter?
yeah,
That was Hunter starting to do
yeah,
that now?
he was in the middle, and yeah, he starts, like, doing all this weird stuff with his butt, like, kind of how Trey was doing when I was playing that
Yeah.
entity thing, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, no." And so then, I pulled Hunter. I was gonna just snuggle him, and I'm trying to pull him over to me, and he is in his sleep fighting to stay in contact with Trey. And, like, I'm, like, having, like, almost a tug of war with something I can't see, and finally, I get mad and I just pull him over, and when I did, I had him not touching Trey, and Hunter whipped his legs up and went and stuck him on Trey's hip, like, just to keep some sort of a contact with Trey, and I was like, "This is insane," because what I felt was happening was what was in Trey still wanted to be doing something to me, so its connection was Hunter because he was in the middle of us. So then I just stood up and I scooped Hunter up and I went out into the living room, and I'm like, "I'm just gonna go
Okay.
sleep in the living room with him," and I'm holding Hunter in my arms, and I'm out here and I'm praying. I'm just praying, and I'm like, I'm like, "God, Heavenly Father, don't let it attack my son, like, not my kids, like, leave my kids alone. Please don't let this thing affect my children." And I'm holding Hunter, and in his sleep, he sits up and he looks at me dead in the eye, and his eyes are like black. And he looks at me, and then he does this weird contortion thing and like lays back down in my arms. And then he like sticks his arm just straight up in the air. It was so creepy. I just start bawling, and I like don't even know what to do. And he was supposed to go, Hunter had a wrestling tournament that day, and, Trey had to get up at, like, 5, so Trey comes out, and he didn't even know I'd left the room, and he comes out, and he's like, "What are you doing out here?" And I just start crying, and I told him everything that happened, and, like, Hunter looked like death that morning, like, he was completely pale, bags, like, dark circles under his eyes, and I'm like, "We have to do something." I'm like, "It's going after our kids now, and whatever it is, it's not gone." And growing up Mormon, so I'm like, I'm gonna have to seek help there. So I called my mom that morning and I'm like, "Mom, I need help. Like something is going on here." And I tell her everything. And so then, well, no,
Okay.
my mom told my dad. And so he
Oh, okay.
called the state president of the church, of our church, and he called him and he said, he's like, "Hey, this is Lynn Saltzman," and, he said, "My daughter's having issues and she needs some help." And the state president said to him, he's like, "Lynn," he's like, "I already knew that I needed to be in Townsend tomorrow," because this was Saturday, so church was on Sunday. He said, "I already knew that I had to be in Townsend on tomorrow for some reason, and I cleared my schedule." And he said, "I didn't know why I needed to be there until you just called me right now." And he's like,
Yep.
and like that always just made me cry. Well, then, so I called our bishop from here because he would come with him. And I told him what was going on, and I'm like, "Yeah, the sick present's coming tomorrow." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "No, he's not coming to town tomorrow." And I'm like, "Oh, he is." And he didn't even know because he was just gonna show up and see what his need was to be here. And I just felt like maybe they would think I was doing something to bring this on, and because we had quit going to church. We don't go to church anymore, and we hadn't for a few years by the time that happened. And so I was thinking they're gonna think,
Mhm.
"Oh, what'd you get yourself into, Mary?" And it's like, and that's what I said to him, and I'm like, "We haven't done any." I'm like, "We're not doing anything like occultish, like
No,
nothing like
you're not calling it in. You're not calling it in. You're
no."
just living your
And you
life.
know what he said to me? He said, "Mary," he said, "since I've been the bishop," and he'd only been the bishop for like a year. He said, "Since I've been the bishop, this will be the fifth one of these that I've done just in Townsend." He's like, "Evil is so strong right now and everywhere."
Yes, it
And
is. Yes.
he's like, "It's nothing you did. Don't feel like that." He's like, "This happens and they're going after people strong right now." And I was like, "I wish you guys would talk about this more, like at church,
Hmm.
because it makes you like." I tried to seek help elsewhere because I felt like bad, like that you think I had done something, but apparently it's pretty common. It's just not talked about.
It is, and we need it to be talked about, just like what we're doing here right now. We need it to be so that people can find help, that they can reach out and have places to go and have those options. Right now, it's very limited for those people, and we can overcome that darkness. Obviously, we're going to get to that part in our story here, but it's really good that you're sharing this. So that other people who can maybe relate to the same kind of experiences that you've had we can find help for them and help change it, because there is a major shift going on right now, and we need to be able to talk openly about the darkness and how to get rid of it. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Excellent, thank you.
So then, um, so then they came. They're like, "Well, we're gonna come to your house after church tomorrow and bless the home and bless all you and like cast anything out that shouldn't be there." And we hadn't
Hmm.
talked to our kid. We were hiding stuff from our kids. We didn't want to scare them. So we're like, "Yeah, they're just coming over to bless our
Of
house,
course.
and they're gonna give you all a blessing." And, so they did come over, but the craziest thing was that Saturday night, this horrific smell came up in our house. Like, the smell was like
Yeah.
rotting urine,
Rotting,
like
yes.
rotting urine or
Rotting.
some and it was so bad, because 'cause I'm, like, cleaning my house because "Oh, the president
Yeah.
of the church is coming over," so cleaning, and this smell was horrific, and I'm like, "What are we gonna do?" I'm like, "What is that? Where is it coming from? What are we gonna do? We can't have them come over if our house smells like this. Like, this is crazy. Like, they're gonna condemn us." Like, and I'm not kidding. Like, it was an actual worry. Well, and I was
Of course, no, yeah, no, that energy knew that there was a battle going on, and it was trying to present itself, in my opinion, just from my view, is that it was trying to present and establish itself in your home to try to overcome what was coming from the people
yeah,
coming to
they
help you.
wanted me to
That's just
cancel it for sure, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's just something for people out there to recognize, that when you start battling the darkness, you're going to find things like experiences just like that, where smell. Things will start happening. The electronics that was just going on a minute ago, unusual things. We battle those back like we just did. I just took a moment or two to clear that energy that was going on, and it's very interesting that you would have that kind of an experience. It is common for those kind of things to happen. I just want to throw that in there. So please go ahead.
Well,
Okay.
so, I was scared to stay at my house that night because of what had happened the night before with Hunter and everything. So I
Hmm.
told my mom, I'm like, "We're gonna all just come stay the night at your house." She just lives up the road, and then we'll go to church with you in the morning. And when we left to go to her house, it was like 9. the house still just had that smell. And I even like got a shampooer and shampooed the carpets. Like it was crazy the length I went to try to figure out what was going on, and nothing helped. And so we went and stayed at her house, and then we came in the morning to get ready for church. And when we walked in, the smell was completely gone. It was gone. It was crazy, which was a relief, but I think it realized, well, this is happening regardless of,
Mhm.
and so, yeah, it was gone. And so then
And it was gone.
they picked
What do it was gone. What removed that? What do you believe removed that
just
smell?
the realization that it was happening regardless, I guess. I don't know.
Did anybody do any work in the house at that time,
No,
or
not
not? Nothing had happened at that
no.
time, but it came to the no, okay. I just want to point that out. So at some point you were still going down your path. You're going to be going to church. You went to your mom's. You got out of there, and the smell did go
Yeah,
away, and you didn't do anything different other than remove yourself from the house, right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. I just want to point that
Yeah.
out.
So
Okay,
then we come,
okay.
get ready for church, go to church. Well, then they came over after church and they blessed our house and they blessed all of me and Trey and the kids. And out of 7 of us, they cast things out of 4 of us. And one of them was my oldest daughter. And I started noticing a darkness in her for a while. And I said to Trey, I'm like, I said, I think whatever it is affecting her also. I'm like, do you notice? And she'd get like the dark eyes and like really angry. And I hadn't even told that to the president or the bishop. I didn't mention anything about her. I'd only said about me, Trey, and Hunter what had happened that night. And when they blessed the kids, um, they like I said, they cast something out of me, Trey, Hunter, and then not my
Mhm.
other 4 children. And then when it came to Marley, who I hadn't even mentioned, they cast something out of her too, which was interesting.
Okay.
But when they were done, like the house felt super light. Like you could just feel like, oh, okay, we can breathe. Like it's gone, you know? And it was.
Mhm.
It was gone. And things were
Mhm.
good for a little while. I don't even know how long. And then I started noticing things. Then it started creeping back in. I don't know
It
if it was like
did. Yeah.
6 months or so. And I started noticing it with Trey. He started pulling my hair in the sleep again, and I'm like, "Oh, no." And then I would watch him sleep sometimes, and I could oh,
So Trey, can I ask a quick question here? I'll make it quick. So Trey, while she was doing her work on you to try to clear you and get you free from the darkness that was impacting you and the family, were you conscious of any of the stuff that was going on? Were you aware up until that moment that you woke up? Were you aware that you were growling? Were you aware of your grinding and any of you?
No, not
No,
at all. I'd be a dead sleep,
not at all.
like in like deep trance, like sleep. Yeah,
You were sleeping and you were not conscious or any of
not in
that.
the
So
slightest
she's
bit.
dealing.
Yeah, so she'd sit up and watch me
Okay.
for hours
I've
at night,
recorded him because
record
I
me.
felt like he didn't believe me. And when I would feel something I could feel when it was there. I 100% would just know. I'm like, uh-oh, uh-oh. And I would record him.
I'm not surprised, Mary. When I first tapped into you, I knew that you had great powers. I knew that you had intuition. I remember telling Trey that we needed to start after we started talking. That we needed to start with you because you did have those gifts, and just I think that it's important to acknowledge that you knew that they were there. You shut them off, had some fear about it. It wasn't common for you to talk about it, but look where you are now and look what you've done. I just want to point that out. It's amazing. So I didn't mean to
Oh
interrupt,
no,
but I wanted to pull those aspects out before I forget.
For sure.
Okay.
but
Okay.
yeah, I would feel it. And so sometimes I would record him because I feel like he doesn't understand what I'm like experiencing. Like
I highlight it.
It sounds like he
Yeah.
didn't. He had no idea. He
Whenever
had no
there was
idea.
something there and I would record him, my phone would go in and out of focus on video, and it never does that. Never. You know what I'm saying? Like, I record the kids, I record
I
stuff all the
would,
time, and my phone is completely normal, and anytime something was around, it would, like, blur in and out, like, it couldn't focus on him or anything. It was weird, and that I always knew, and I could at night sometimes, I knew I could see something on him on this side, like, right in his neck and shoulder, like, right here. I would watch, and I could see it, and sometimes I would even, like, talk to it and be like, "I see you, like, I know you're there," you know?
yeah,
Like, I would,
yeah.
and, I could, like, see, like, even, like, his neck would, like, kinda move sometimes, like, and it didn't even scare me at that point because 'cause I'm like, you know, it's here. Now it's just something we have
You,
to
you,
deal with.
yeah,
It's something we have
you'd already seen all those other things occur. So it's just another part of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so then
Wow.
Well, the weird thing about like her seeing it, I would have really weird like shoulder neck problems all the time on this side. Like it would hurt and like I'd almost like be always like kind of moving my shoulder. Like it was for a long time.
mhm.
Remember, I'd always have something like where there was just like a weird pressure. Like it felt like there was something there, but like I couldn't explain it always. And then especially like if she would start pointing it out, it would like you could feel it irritated. Like it would like start moving it around. It was like
Wow.
involuntary
Yeah.
type of movement sort of thing on that side.
Mary's finding it and she's coming after it.
Except I didn't know how to come after it. I'm like, "Well, I know it's there," you know? Um,
You were trying though. You were going down the path. You were looking up information. You were working it, Mary. You were.
yeah. Well, so then I'm trying to think. It was back, things were getting bad again. His personality was changing again, and it was just like, I'm like, "I cannot do this again." Like, I'm not I just don't wanna do this again, and I'm like, "Trey, we have got to figure something out." I'm like, "Obviously, I don't know how to get rid of it, and, I don't wanna call the church again because, I just don't." Like, "Oh, me again, ha." Back, and so, he had been listening to Tyler's, podcast, and he would have me listen, and he was talking about how he could help people and like, clear things and things that he did, and, finally, I was saying to Trey, like, or maybe he said, I don't know who said, but like, "Well, you need to get in contact with Tyler and just talk to him and just see what he thinks."
Right prior to me contact, like the night I sent him a long email. Like I had left the house because I mean, whatever it was, like could not stand Mary. Like it recognized her powers, and it like was
Yep.
doing anything
Yep.
for me to sabotage that relationship. And it was just crazy because like I had no control over it. Like I felt completely out of control, but complete just blind rage. Like, and I didn't even realize why I was mad. But it would like if I would leave and remove myself, and generally I would go to the mountains because like that's where I feel the best, like just connected and like I have really good energy. Then it would like it would fade away, and I would like feel good, but then I'd feel terrible because it's like, geez, what is going on? And like it would come back, and I'd recognize that like I do love her, it's like, this isn't me, like, I don't know why I'm acting like this, and it was crazy, but I had it so, my brother definitely has some sorta, like, connection type stuff too, because I had sat and I wrote Tyler a long email reaching out to him over this, and then I went out of service. I was in the mountains, I didn't have service, and the first text message that came through when I came back was my brother on there, and he's like, "You need to contact Tyler and talk to him." I was like, "That's crazy." I was like, "'Cause we hadn't even talked, like, for a few days," but he had felt all that and he just knew it. I'm like that. I sent him a long email yesterday or last night, and then I lost service. So I
Uh-huh.
hadn't, even heard back from him or anything. And it's like, but he had connected and felt that too. And that's where I finally had, got in touch with him, I guess.
hmm
Okay.
And
Okay.
um, yeah, because there was a bad night. It was probably a month or so. It was right around Christmas time. When things got really bad around here, I remember me and Trey, I don't know, we were in some huge fight. I don't even know about what. And I saw the darkness on him. And I had another healer friend named Michael, that I'd seen a couple times. And he knew stuff that was going on. And this night got bad. And so I told Trey, I'm like, I'm gonna call Michael and see if he can come here right now. I said, because whatever is happening right now is like I'm scared. Like it's it's
Hmm.
not good. It's evil. And I don't know what to do about it. And I don't want it to stay here right now. I want it just gone. And he got really mad about, well, not him, whatever was in him got really mad about the thought of me calling
Yeah.
Michael.
Exactly.
So Trey, because it was like the day after Christmas, 5 kids. So we have, like boxes and, it Christmas had exploded in our house. And so Trey tried to use that because he knows, like, I like the house to be clean when people come over, like, and so he was trying to use that. So it was familiar with me, that whatever it was knew me pretty well, and it knew my insecurities and how to, like, with the smell, it knew that I
Yep.
would never
Yes,
let
they
someone come in my
do.
house that smelled like that. Or so Trey says to me, he's like, "Oh, you're gonna call Michael and have him come over when the house looks like this?" And I was like, "First of all, it's not even bad. It's Christmas." And I'm like, "Second of all, I don't care if our house was a complete tornado at this point. I need help." And he did not want me to have Michael come over, and he's like yelling at me, and I'm just looking at this darkness. And finally I just snapped, and I just got right up to Trey's face, and I talked to the thing, and I'm like just yelling at it. I'm like, "I am so tired of you being in my home, affecting my husband." And I'm like, I'm getting rid of you." And I'm like, I'm like yelling at it, not even at Trey. And I'm like, "I'm sick of you," whatever. And Trey's just looking at me, and then he just leaves the house. He just goes out of the house. And I did get a hold of Michael, but he couldn't come over. But he's like, "Mary," he's like, "You have powers." He's like, "You have so many powers," because he's always told me that too. And he's like, "You can
Hmm.
do this." He's like, "You just need to believe in yourself." He's like, "Right now, your best option for peace for now." He's like, "You just need to sage the house, like, very confidently and tell everything to just leave?" And so that's what I did. And then Trey did calm down. Um, but then it was just like, it didn't get rid of it. But so then
Right.
it was like, once he contacted Tyler finally, and Tyler tapped into him, Tyler was like, "Oh man," he's like, "We've got some big stuff going on here." Like he couldn't even comprehend, you know, what was happening.
Yeah.
And then that scared us because I'm like, "Great, like if he's freaked out, like this can't even be good," because I'm sure he's seen things before. And then
It was not Mary, it was not good. What was going on at your place when we get further into the story, people are gonna hear, yeah, you've told me so much that
yeah,
I
you
had
didn't
no clue
know the
about any
stuff
of this.
leading up to Tyler, 'cause
I didn't know
there was
any
a
of
lot
this.
that happened for years before
Wow,
that.
really?
Mhm.
Just yeah, I'm in awe just hearing what
Like,
I've heard
we
so
dealt with
far.
it for
Uh,
years. It was a lot. Like, I'd have
wow.
marks on my
No,
body,
I
I'd have bruises, I got that weird, and to me, and that was the time that I was just talking about, right after Christmas. I remember my arm was hurting, and I'm like, "Gosh, my arm really hurts." And then the next day, it was still hurting, And I looked down and I think I sent you pictures of it. I had a bruise
Mhm.
in my arm that looks like a little witch. Like that's the only way
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
describe it. And
Yeah.
I didn't sleep on something. I didn't sleep on a little witch figurine and like dent my arm. And it would creeped me out. And it took a long time for it to heal. It was so weird. It
You guys had so many things going on, all of this that I didn't even know about. I remember when we first tapped into Trey, and we went down that whole path of of how much darkness, and I didn't have a clue that you guys had gone through all of this. We had not discussed this part of it. We pretty
Yeah,
much
we started
picked up
from
the
that
story.
point.
Yeah, yeah. This is amazing to hear this part of the story. From my viewpoint, it's amazing that what you guys went through just for so long, and oh my goodness, I'm so sorry you had to go through that for so long. I guess where I would go now is you got a hold of Tyler. Tyler made some recommendations and talked to you guys about that. Could you just kind of maybe go down that path
Yeah,
and what happened through there, and then how we ended up connecting, if you
for
could,
sure.
just kind of how that happened?
Yeah, no, I was actually at work and he responded to my email, got back to me, and then we just instantly, I was like, can we just talk? Like, so we just called on the phone because, first we were just trying to text or something, and we talked for a long time, and, I went through my story with him, and then, we connected really, really good. Like, it was definitely like a meant to be thing. Like, I felt great about, like, this is exactly what we needed to do. And then later on, he's like, well, yeah, I got to just process this a little bit, and later on, he's like, yeah, there is some big stuff going on. And he's like, I don't know how to navigate this, but he's like, so I'm going to talk to, Don, his healer mentor, whatever you would say for him. And
Dawn, she's
oh, she is.
amazing. I
Yeah,
love her. She's my soul sister, and no, she's so special. Just Super
I
Dawn,
know. And
as
I
we
mean,
call her,
I
Super
guess
Dawn.
at the end of things, at least it was worth going through that whole experience for all of us to connect like that. Cause I mean, that's been pretty amazing to have this connection where it brought everything back around in a circle. So, but yeah, so he calls me back and he's like, can we do a Zoom meeting?
Well, before that, he had tapped into Trey's energy,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
and
Mhm.
he
It
said
scared him.
it
didn't it?
it sk maybe.
I thought he said it like freaked him out.
Yeah, but what he saw too, he confirmed what I'd been telling Trey, because Trey doesn't always believe me when I tell him stuff, like, ever. Like, sometimes I think he thinks I'm super crazy, and he'll just be like, "Oh, yeah," and, like, when I would tell him, like, "I see something on you, I can see it, like, it's something, like, reptilian," like, that's what
Mhm.
I kept think like, to me, it was reptilian something, and,
Mhm. Yeah.
I feel like he's just like, "Oh, she's a little crazy sometimes," but then Tyler, when he tapped into him, he's like, "I'm seeing some sort of a snake," is what he said, "a snake or serpent, like, on this side," and I look at Trey, I'm like, "Huh," and then he's like,
Affirmation.
no, I'm kidding.
A little bit of
All
affirmation
of a
there.
sudden now he believes it. Um, but yeah, so then
Nobody wants to believe they have just a snake wrapped around them. I try to downplay
Of course
everything,
not.
absolutely.
Of course not.
But no, so then we
did a Zoom.
yeah, I left work early because they wanted to do it
They're
as
like,
soon
"We
as
need to do
possible. They're
this."
like, "Can we do this,
Like,
like,
they were scared for us.
right away?" Like, they didn't wanna wait, and I was like, "Well, yeah, I should be able to leave." So I left, and we came home and Zoomed with them, and that was yeah, just having the crazy issues with our audio and our like, everything on there was it was totally messing with the phones the entire time. Like, it was a tough one to
And I
actually
had set
Mhm.
my phone down to record the whole thing so we could go back and watch it. And it was recording. I made sure it was recording. And then when it was over, it was on there recorded. And so, I turned record off, and then I went to go watch it, I don't know, like 20 minutes later, and it was completely gone off my phone. Gone.
Yeah, those energies can affect the electricity and all that stuff. And apparently they were onto you already, Mary
Well,
and Trey,
and
and know that you're working your way trying to get this resolved, and they're trying to stop you every step of the way. It
Oh,
sounds like
absolutely.
that's what it
Yeah.
sounds
well,
like.
then they wanted to play. They're like, we're gonna clear your space, and so Dawn or Tyler, one of the
Hmm.
two, got their singing bowl out. So we're like, okay.
Hmm.
So they're like, just listen to this and see how this makes you feel. And so we're watching them.
It
See
was
them
hilarious,
start
actually.
doing the singing bowl, and me and Trey are like,
Yeah, because we had our eyes closed first.
at first we had our eyes closed, and we're waiting to hear the singing bowl. And we wait a few seconds, and then we open our eyes, and we can see her doing this. And we like look at each other. I'm like, "Can you hear anything?" And he's like, "No, do you?" And I'm like, "No." And so but we could hear their voices because we're like, "Are you like, can you hear sound out of the singing bowl?" And they're like, "What?" Because they could barely hear us because the sound's loud on their side. We're like, "We can't hear anything." They're like, "What do you mean you can't hear anything?" And I'm like, "We can hear your voices. We
Yeah.
can't hear the singing bowl." And Dawn was like floored by that. And so then I went and got one of my singing bowls and played it. And Dawn couldn't hear it either. And that's when she was like, she told me, she's like, if I wouldn't have witnessed that myself, I would have never even believed. If somebody had told me that happened, I wouldn't have believed him. She's like, I've played my singing bowls over Zoom calls many times, and it has
Right.
never, sound has never been
And
blocked.
and Dawn has seen some stuff. Let's just say that, and that's an
The
understatement.
drum
Dawn,
thumpers.
what she does in her work and her spiritual world is what some people would call absolutely crazy, amazing, hard to believe. But for her, for her and you guys to experience something like that, we know there's some hard powers that were really impacting you guys. They were there was some serious stuff going on, or you guys would not have all this stuff to discuss,
Right.
and to share with us right now. I mean, just cutting out the singing bowl, they just didn't want any of that good vibration, none of
Well,
it.
yeah,
They
and
wanted to
then
stop it all.
Tyler went and got his big drum.
No, I got my
Or yeah,
drums.
we had
Mhm.
our drum, and then I thought he had a drum too. I thought we went back
He
and forth,
might
and we
have.
couldn't hear the
Because we
drums
were
on it
thinking,
either.
we're like, well, maybe it's just a high pitch that's not coming through, you know? Because
Mhm.
sometimes high pitches won't go through, apparently. Somebody said that.
Not that
Yeah.
pitch. That pitch
Well,
should
so
come
then
through.
I got my drum, my deer drum, and whoa, you just moved. Weird. Did you see that?
No, I was looking at you.
Oh. Anyway, got the drums out, and he had his drum. Couldn't hear the drums either on either side. No healing sounds were coming through. They were
But the
not.
regular voice audio was just
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Now that in itself to me is amazing that you can hear the voices, but what they were trying to send vibration wise to you to help you feel better to do their work is not coming through. That in itself to me that's amazing. Where voices are coming through, music, drums not coming through. That's
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that from the story either. That's something to think
Well, so
about there.
then,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool.
she like
Wow.
told Trey he had three things going on. Um, he had a skinwalker. What else was it?
Mm-hmm.
She said there was three things. It wasn't just one thing we were dealing with. There was three. What were the other two?
Uh,
There was Skinwalker and there was an interdimensional. Did
yeah.
she mention anything about the interdimensional? Because that's what I picked up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this the skinwalker energy is what I'm going to call it, and the one that was feeding off of him, and then to me there was, I'll let you go ahead and tell, but there was the interdimensional is what was really taking all the energy from you and some of your kids and Mary at the same time. It had been going on for a very long time. They were not willing to relinquish that position. They were really just feeding off your vibration and just sucking the energy out of you guys. That's just from my
Well,
viewpoint. I just
yeah,
want to
because
throw
the
that part
one
in
that
there.
she had talked about was like she said had been with me since I was a kid, like 5 or 6 years old, or
Long
something like
time.
that. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
then
Okay.
you
I'm sorry. I
came
didn't mean
in.
to interrupt. Go
That's
ahead.
right about the time because
Well,
it was
no,
right when we were.
no, not yet.
No.
There's more because so we also had for years our house, which we put this house here. It was raw land, And once things started like getting weird and paranormal around here, our water, we had water issues. Like our water would just quit. Like be
Oh, I did so much like well pumps, this and
dug up the lines, like, and what I always thought was interesting that I started to notice, it was whenever me and Trey would be like really fighting and not getting along, our water, it would
Yeah.
affect our water and our water would just stop. We wouldn't have water. And we're both Cancer signs. So I feel like our fighting would affect the water somehow. And it would get really frustrating because nobody else around here has water problems. And we were constantly, and I would tell Trey, we better not fight or you're going to have to fix the water. Like, you know?
No, but you're fighting vibration is something that's impacting. And when you guys are doing that kind of fighting, it affects the energies around you. And I don't know about the water situation, but
Well,
like you say, you guys are fighting.
that's why Tyler is like, I'm going to make you these copper rods and he put special stuff in it and he did
yeah, he custom made them for us.
and like I think blessed them and did stuff. And he's like, I'm going to make
Mhm.
these for you and I'm going to send them to you. And you need to dig them into your ground. He explained exactly where to put them.
Yeah, triangulate it around our property.
But we'd already, and Don had told us to put a crystal grid around our property. So we had already done that.
Right.
And then, so he's going to send us this stuff. And that's when Don was like, you know, as much as this thing is not wanting any sort of interruption with, you know, trying to get rid of it, it's, I don't feel comfortable sending it to your address because I think it's not going to get to you if I do. And so I said, okay, well, my mom lives up the road. She lives like a mile up the road. I said, we can send it to her house. So I gave her my mom's address and told my mom this thing's coming, you know. And so Dawn put tracking on it. So I was watching every day and then it said what day it was going. It's like out for delivery. And my mom wasn't home. She was out of town, so I had her mail key and I went to go get it and it wasn't there. And so then I look on tracking and it said on the tracking, unable to deliver to this address. And I'm like, my mom's lived there for like 39 years at that same address. And so I went to the post office because they were going to return it to Dawn. And so I got there, luckily, the day that it happened, and they hadn't sent it back yet. So I had to go to the post office and intercept it before it got sent back.
They're working, trying to stop every aspect all the way down your step, every aspect of your path. You were getting a fight. It was a fight. Literally a fight.
For sure.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. So so they said that you found you got it from the post office.
Yeah. So then we dug it in and everything. You know, the water. We haven't had any water problems ever since we put that in.
And our water's actually been like we have really hard water, and it got really strange because it's like we started showering.
And it would feel like you couldn't get the set.
Yeah, like when you have soft water, like we're not used to it around here, but you go to some places have water treatment, like softening systems, and you're like, you never feel like you can get the soap off of you. You always got to have that. And I'm like, I said it to her, I was like, you notice that it feels like you can't get clean in the shower anymore? I was like, and our water's always just been hard. Like if our sprinklers are on, we have to make sure it doesn't hit our windows on our vehicles or it will leave that on there.
Hard
like
water
we have
spot.
real hard water around here. And it completely changed that. And it's like we have a water softener in here now. It's ever since we put those in, it's been crazy.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, it is. That is crazy. That's very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, and then how did we end up finding each other? How did you guys how did we connect in from your viewpoint?
So then, yeah, on there, I mean, this went from Tyler. He knew it was out of his realm, so he contacted Dawn, and they did all that, and then she just got to the point too. Like Tyler's like, you know, because I'd been in contact with him a lot. He's like, well, Don has a friend that this is way more up his field, that they're like, we're gonna bring in Kerry and introduce you guys and see if he can help, because yeah, even Don was like, I don't know if I could do this. So that's when I talked to her, and that's when you were in Mexico, weren't you? You were gone.
Yeah, I left for Mexico on April 1st. But the crazy thing, so we'll get to the cat.
You want
Okay.
to backtrack to the cat with the Don thing? Because remember when they were on the Zoom and she saw that?
But she didn't, I don't
Or
think she
asked it.
said anything about
She
it.
did, totally.
What'd she say?
She knew that there was something up with that cat.
Oh, I
She
don't
had felt
remember.
it. Remember, she had like came into our home and
Well, she asked if we had any pets.
yeah, but she said something about the one
Oh, I didn't know
that
she said
cat.
anything
Oh,
about
yeah.
that. Oh. Well, anyway, so our cat, which his name was Monster, which might have been a bad choice in hindsight, but
Yeah.
but he was a young cat, and we loved that cat. And I remember, for a while, all of a sudden, he started smelling bad. Like, I'd be like, he'd lay in my bed, and like I'd have to make him leave my room because his smell was bad. And I'm like, and he wasn't dirty, and I would be like, um, I'm like, Trey, do you notice how bad Monster smells? And I was like, I've never had a cat stink like that before. It's just really weird to me. And he was a long-haired cat, so I'm like, maybe he's just getting urine on his fur. But I've had long-haired cats
Mhm.
before, and um, so it was never like that. Well, then, and he sounded weird, and even the kids knew that he sounded weird. Like, he didn't sound
Really
Mhm.
crazy.
he didn't sound like a cat, and he would come in sometimes in the middle of the night into my room and just, like, make these terrible noises. And yeah, it wasn't a cat sound. It was like something trying to sound like a cat. And then, like, there'd be times, like, I would come
Trying
home,
to sound like
and
a
if
cat.
I would go in my bathroom and shut the door, it's like he wanted to be around me, and he would, like, be attacking the door with his paws coming under the door and just making terrible noises trying to get in with me, and I'm like, "Hang on a second," you know? And, so he stunk, he made weird noises, and then and this is I hadn't even known anything about skinwalkers, you know, I hadn't really looked up
Mhm.
anything like that.
Right.
Well, then chunks of his fur, I would find chunks of his fur around the house. I'd be picking up white chunks of fur, and I'm like, told Trey, I'm like, Monster is so weird. I'm like, just he's leaving big chunks of fur around the house now, and I'm like, he smells bad, he sounds weird. I'm like, what is up with this cat, you know? And
He's getting attacked.
and yeah, so then when I left for Mexico is when you came into the picture. And so Sunday night, Monster was here. And then I left for Mexico in the morning. And then that's the day you got in contact with Trey. And you immediately started working on him. And you had said that you were pulling something off of him and putting it into a crystal. And so that was Monday, April 1st. We've never seen Monster again. He's gone. He disappeared. He's gone.
He did big things to the kid. It's for life, but the blessing I let him instead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So you kind of brought in where I kind of came into the picture at this point,
Yeah.
right? So I'm gonna kind of throw in just a little blip here if I could, just from my viewpoint now. Long story short, have a very good friend of mine, light worker. His name's Thomas. For a few months, he had been, I had talked about Dawn and how special she is, and that I needed to see her. I don't get to see her enough. And I was talking about, kind of who she is, what she does, and her great healing work and all of her spiritual work that she does. And he mentioned to me, I want to go meet her sometime. A couple months go by. I'll just go through this quickly. A couple months go by, and it just so happens, as people say, coincidentally, what ended up happening is we went up to see Dawn, and he wanted to go with me, so I took him on up to her place, and it was a nice day. We're sitting outside, we're at a little table, and we're just doing our normal visit about a great many things in the spiritual realm of things. And while we were sitting there, just so happened to be that one day I hadn't seen her probably in 3 4 months, and I'm sitting there talking to her, and she's at the table, and Thomas is here on my side, and we're talking, and she gets a phone call, and she gets off the phone, and she goes, I'm sorry, I can't remember if it was Tyler or if it was Trey. I think it was Trey talking to
I think
Dawn.
so, yeah.
Excuse me. It's like, what's that? Were you, Trey? Was it you talking to her when
It,
Dawn said Carrie's actually
yeah,
here? Was it
yeah,
you?
it was me talking to her.
I couldn't remember which one of you it was. So basically, Dawn gets off the phone talking with you, Trey, and and she changes the subject matter. She goes, hey, Carrie, I got some friends. That, we've been doing some work with them. They're over in Montana. They have some paranormal things going on. She goes, are you willing to go ahead and help? And I said, well, of course. If there's something I can do, I don't know if I can help it. Let's give it a go. And she goes, it's okay if they contact you. And I said, of course. That's how I work. Is I let the people contact me when they're ready to make sure that I'm not, stepping into something I'm going to be wasting my time on. The people who are ready to get rid of these dark energies that that impact so many different people. And so I said, sure, of course. I go, we just have them text me, and we'll go from there, and we'll start our conversation then accordingly. And I believe it was your number, Trey, that you and I were the first ones to start talking.
Mm-hmm.
And as I recall, we opened up in our conversation. I went into the realm. I tapped in, and identified. I'm gonna let you tell your part of it. Identified what I felt was on you and was in your house. What was attached to affecting your kids, specifically Hunter and one of the other children. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember there's two. And then I remember going down the path of that we needed to get Mary on board because we needed her energy established in the house, let her remember who she is and how powerful she is, and to help her to enhance her gifts, so that she could be on board while we were doing our work, all of us together to clear the house, clear the kids, and clear yourself as well, Trey. And that's just my little viewpoint from how that happened. That I just happened to be sitting at Dawn's house that particular day that you called, and I'm just going to say that's there's a little bit of some divine energy going on here, in my opinion, is what I would say with the circumstances to bring us together. That would be my viewpoint. But I'd like you to go ahead from there if you would.
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely.
Tell how you saw it.
No, I mean it was really crazy how that all just came about. But yeah, it was, and Mary was gone, but I remember you and me talking for a little bit, and you tapping into the home and everything, and then you asked if you could tap into Mary, and that's, I think, when you were like actually realized like who I had, because that was, I had told Mary that I was like, it was crazy. I was like, when you tapped in, then you just didn't say anything for a little while, and then you're like, apologize. You're like, I'm sorry. You're like, her energy is crazy, like, and you were emotional on it, and like you could feel her energy, and then just feel like, I think her frustrations, maybe like how, what she'd been trying to figure out and deal with, but she didn't. And I think you'd even mentioned that you're like, she has the craziest amount of power, but she just doesn't know what to do, like how to channel it properly, or just can't remember, can't figure out
Yeah.
exactly how to do that. It's kind of what I gathered from it at that point.
Right. Then that's exactly what I did. I basically became her so I could tap into her, and that's why I asked permission first.
Mhm.
And so when I tapped into Mary, I got emotional because her energy there's so much love in her and so much power and energy. That's why I got emotional on it, is because I was her and I could feel who she was. It was a great experience to get to know Mary that well. I kind of think that kind of started our leap together, and why we're so tight is because when we connected together, It's a pretty magical thing, I'll just say.
For sure.
It's just a magical thing. So yeah, so from there, go ahead. From there, if you would, what happened?
Well, he started working, trying to get something off of you, and he said it was gonna take a while. It wasn't just gonna be like an instant fix.
Right.
And then we had
Right.
Tyler had sent us instructions about the cedar campfire.
Oh, that's right. That was the other crazy one. Yeah. So it was right in the whole middle of that. Like, well, I guess I'll go back. Like after talking to you, and then I talked to Mary, and it was like they're actually that was like there was a real feeling of like actual hope, like some sort of light at the end of the tunnel. Then, like that point, I knew we were on the right path, and we were starting to figure things out. And then it was not long after that that Tyler just out of the blue calls me and he's like, you need to have a big cedar fire. He's like, I don't know what is he's like, something just hit me, but he's like, you have to have a bonfire with cedar. And I'm like, hold on for
Someone's here.
um
Hunter, Paisley. Sorry.
No, it's totally okay. This is how life is right here. This is real life.
He's back there. You can go in his room. The neighbor girl looking for Hunter.
so yeah, I'm like, we don't have cedar where I live. Like up in that like northwest corner of Montana, there's cedar trees, but like where we're at, I'm like, we have no cedar around here. I'm like, I guess I can try to figure out if there's anything. And I had told Mary about it. I was like, well, Tyler says we need to find cedar so we can have a big bonfire because it's super healing. Like it's, there's a lot of power in cedar trees and everything. And I was like, we'll figure how to get that. And then
I was looking on one of the classifieds pages, the local classifieds pages, and there just happened to be a woman 30 miles from us that ripped out all their cedar fence posts and was selling them for $10 a post, like big cedar fence posts. And I'm like, I
but you
screamed.
hadn't even like, because you were the administrator, so you thought right on.
Yeah, I found it right off the bat, and I sent Trey a screenshot. I'm like, you're not gonna believe this. I'm like, there's a lady in Three Forks selling cedar fence posts for $10 a piece.
So he had told me all that. So we went and got it. And then you and me had talked shortly after that because we hadn't had the fire, but you started going in and you're like, is there something with like a fire or something? Like you're like, I'm picturing like a fire, and I'm like, well, actually there is supposed to be a fire, like that we just got all these posts and we're supposed to do this.
But we had to gather like 4 other things.
Yeah, we had to get
wheatgrass, tobacco,
sage.
which we had.
Yeah, we had a whole thing because I built that
There
little
was 4. So we had to gather all these things, which we finally got. But we kept putting off the fire. We're like, we need to do the fire, and then something would come up, and something would come up, and find.
Yeah, because we
like,
wanted to have the family together to just do it so we could all go around and have this fire. But yeah, you had seen it and you're like, I don't know, this sounds weird, but is there something with like, I'm seeing a fire in this? And I'm like, yeah, there is supposed to be a fire. And so then we finally just did committed, got all the kids out. We had our singing bowls, our drums. Like I had built a whole little grid thing on the ground that with all the ingredients that Tyler suggested for us for like the cedar wood in there, the sage, the sweet grass, to like a whole cleansing little almost compass type thing on the ground in a certain direction, or it was all faced, so it was all set up. And then
if the neighbors would have peeked over the fence,
and then we had the fire that night, and then you can go from where the fire started.
I remember you told us because we told you what day we were going to do the fire.
Oh, that's right. You
and
wanted to
you said, you're like, I don't know why. You're like, but I'm getting told to pay attention to the wind. And because you said,
Right, that's right. It's going to be coming.
You said it's gonna
to
turn
be coming
south.
from the south.
Yeah,
And
and our
we
wind
were
never
like,
blows from the south here.
yeah,
Like,
Trey was like, I think Carrie's gonna be wrong on that one because our wind here does not blow from the south. And all day it had been windy, all going north. Even when we started the campfire, north. And we're like,
he's saying coming out of the south. So that
no,
is,
it switched.
yeah, I know.
It
Usually
was
it's
blowing
blowing
to
this
the
way.
north.
It's right either way.
Well, whatever it was going the normal way when we started the campfire. And once we started, not even kidding, all of a sudden the wind completely switched and went opposite.
Yeah, it
direction.
just like stopped for like a split second and then it just
It
turned the
was
other way and
something. We're like, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
and then the cat.
Yeah, and when we started the campfire, right on the edge of our property, this weirdest animal scream just went out, like a guttural, like animal sound of nothing that we've heard around here before. My neighbors there don't even live there in the winter. It wasn't a dog, and it did it twice, and the kids heard it. We're like, did you just hear that? Because it like put the hair on your arm up, and it was just like something when we started the campfire was yelling, and it was almost like it was like getting forced to leave, and it didn't want.
It didn't like it. It did not like
all of us
we
heard
were
it.
that was the yeah, that was running down some of the beginnings of our it was a process. I remember telling Trey at the beginning that this isn't going to be quick. This is going to be part of a process. It's going to take a few weeks. And I remember saying that. And but then that energy that you heard, it was leaving. At that point, it knew it was going to be removed. They know that. I know that sounds weird, but when we connect with them, when I tap into them, they know that I'm tapping into them. And when you guys started doing that, there was no stopping it at that point. You guys are actually, as I recall, I could be wrong, that you had actually started some other things. We had started clearing the children first, is what I kind of remember. That I remember telling Trey we need to get Mary up to energy. Then I got to Hunter. I couldn't remember his name, but I just said, this is what's going on with him. Let's get the children cleared. Let's get your house cleared. In the meantime, you guys are supposed to have a fire. You guys get like a fire pit. I remember asking that. And then and then we went down. Then I talked about the Native American something or other, like a waterway up north of your house. And I remember, I don't know if you guys remember that, but I remember a little bit. And there was some energy going on Native American up there. And is that kind of where the noise kind of came from?
Well,
The
our
animal
whole
noise?
where our house is built,
Mm.
this is a riverbed. The whole
And I
around
remember
here.
talking about the Native American energy that was by the riverbed or where it used to be or was.
Right.
Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, totally. Yeah, because
We're in the
Okay.
riverbed.
yeah, and I mean, just
Okay.
right,
And I
like,
can't
not
remember that.
far from like here, like they used to do a lot of like hunting party stuff. Like we went up to old teepee rings and stuff that are up on some land outside of here and, messed around looking for arrowheads and there's all sorts of stuff. But yeah, there was a lot of Native American stuff in this area for sure.
Yeah. And that creature energy at that point, you guys were all on board, the family. This is just from what I recall, and that the whole family went out to the fire
We
pit.
had a great time because we had the drums going. We were all dancing around the
With the
fire.
maracas or whatever.
Yeah, the singing bowl, the drums,
Yeah,
like
we had-
everything out
Yeah,
there.
it was like I said, if the neighbors had looked over the fence, they would have. They would have probably moved. No.
You guys gonna have some little white coats, and they would all be
for
tight and
sure.
snug for you.
Yeah, it was something.
Yeah, I just remember that you guys sharing that with me. That that what I do recall is this: is I remember saying we need to get the whole family on board. This is from my viewpoint, from this my little part of the story, is that I remember saying that we need to get everybody on board if we can, as many of the family members as we can, and make sure that they're introduced to what's going on, and everybody be conscious that we're going to clear the house, clear the space, clear Trey, clear Hunter, and such. And then when you guys actually told me, as I recall, was it Mother's Day?
It might have been.
Was that Mother's
It
Day?
might have been.
Because there was
because all
people
the-
here at my house, and I think it was Mother's Day, and it was something getting close to the fire. We decided it was
wasn't
time to
May.
finally do it
Yeah.
because it kept getting postponed,
Okay,
as I
yeah.
recall, right?
We were trying. Yeah, we couldn't
And then finally
organize
it
it
was like,
together. There was always
What
there
was
was
that? I'm
always
sorry.
something happening, and we were trying to like we got to
Right.
have a fire, and
And
then something would always
Or the
come up.
weather, there was a few times we're like, "We're gonna do the fire tonight," and then it would be pouring rain, like, so we couldn't, or it'd be super, super windy.
Yeah.
Like, the weather
right.
messed with us a few times too.
I couldn't remember all the things. What I do remember is that you guys were saying we keep postponing it, keeps postponing it. And then when the family all got together, it was like this is the right time. Everything you guys did, the timing was everything. We needed to wait. You guys, us, we needed to wait till that time came, and the whole
Except
family
we were
was
missing
together. Like
Marley. Mar
there was the
Yeah,
one.
she was up in Lincoln, but we're like, "You know what? We can't keep postponing it. We've got to do it."
Right. But you had enough of the family there. Everybody came together. Go ahead and let's pick it up from as much of the family as you could get together, and everybody coming together because it was very important for everybody in the family to have the mindset, the awareness, and the willingness to to step up and get this get the changes that needed to be done for the darkness
Mhm.
that was going on with you guys. Okay,
So
so go ahead from there.
Uh,
so we had the fire, and then everything's really
it seemed
to
calm down after that. After the fire, it seemed like
for a while. Everything
it was
had
peaceful.
calmed down quite a bit, and then eventually it started to come back around, didn't it?
I think so.
Well, I mean, that was pretty me going, sea type talking.
Okay.
Can I throw in a little
Yeah,
bit
for
if I
sure.
could? Um, I'm just going to throw it from my viewpoint and what I experienced, and that was this. That was that after tapping into Trey, I remember us going in and talking about you getting back to nature because now we were working on getting you
Right.
cleared. After we got the kids, the house cleared, then you guys did your fire. We were still, and then the noise from the creature and all the things that were going on there. To me, a little bit prior to that, we had already started working on you, as I recall.
Right.
And I would talk to you about going out into nature, and that one of the kids, it would be good to take one of the boys with you or something, as I recall. And I don't know if you remember that. And it would help you to get to where your mindset was better. And you had said earlier that even when you were in nature, you found that you were better
Mhm.
and such. And then I remember telling you that if you start going into doing those kind of things, your hobbies or getting back to doing some of that stuff, it was going to help you get back on your normal path, is what I
Mm.
recall. And I remember we were doing a lot of work with you to get you cleared and to get you freed from the growling energy that was impacting you on the neck and stuff. Does that sound accurate to you?
Mhm. Yeah. One thing I just remembered that was crazy that happened, and I think this was before we knew you, but it was during the Tyler and Dawn. We knew them. She told me that I need to use my singing bowls in the house, so, because there's one come through. Because I have singing bowls, and she told me that I needed to use the singing bowls a lot to raise the frequency in the home. Well, after she told me that, there was one time. Oh, this was before even dawn, this happened, where it was the bad night that I was telling you about, that was right after Christmas, and Trey, like, had
Mm-hmm.
something really attached to him going after me. So, when I was saging, and Michael told me, he's like, "You need to sage," and he's like, "Use your singing bowls in all the rooms." Well, I had my singing bowls. There's one that's like this big, and then I have a smaller one that I had set in it. And so I went to go get my singing bowls. And when I tried to pull it out, some weird way it turned and my singing bowl was stuck inside the other singing bowl. Like, it had wedged itself sideways, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I can't use my singing bowls. They're stuck together and they're crystal," so it's like there's not much I can do, and I'm like, it was sabotaging me again, and I'm like Trey, look at this, like, the singing bowls are stuck, and he's probably secretly like, "Yeah, they are," you know? And so I didn't wanna break them, so I got a rubber spatula and, like, had to get it in there and scoot it out, and I did get them pulled apart and was able to use them. But then, after we had met Dawn, she's like, "Use your singing bowls," and so I remember the kids were playing in my room, and they like to use the singing bowls. Well, we hear a crash, and they knocked one of my singing bowls. They had it on the bed, and it fell off the bed, which they say nobody touched it, which, I mean, could possibly be true because they were just as shocked and broke it. So my favorite singing bowl just broke on the ground. So I ordered, because I like that one the best. I like the sound that it makes. So I ordered another one, had it come in the mail, and I had it for like a week. And the first time I went to use it, I have it sitting in my lap and I start to use it. It literally shattered in my lap. Just, and I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, and I sent pictures to Dawn and I'm like, this is the first time I have used this singing bowl. And I said, it literally just broke into pieces in my lap.
Just one thing after
Yeah, isn't
another.
that crazy?
Amazing. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, so then
It
I
is
got
crazy.
myself a metal one, but it's pretty small, but because I'm like, well, that one can't shatter, you know?
Well, we know some good Christmas ideas now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. You know, another thing I wanted to run by is I wanted to see if I remember accurately or not. And that was I thought that we tapped in to one of the energies that was messing with Trey, and it had to do with one of his friends who
Melvin.
would and that Trey had gone there. And in my opinion, what I picked up was that Trey actually picked up whether it was an additional at that time or at least the one that I recognized, an energy from him. Do you remember that part of the story at all?
Yeah, he for a while, and he was like a good friend of ours, and Trey's known him since they were kids,
Since I was born.
since he was
His
born.
mom and my mom were best friends like growing up, and then it had just been so we grew up together like we were brothers.
And then
Right.
when
Yeah.
we met, like, Melvin was one of my good friends. Like, we always had a great time together. Well, then all of a sudden, he got really dark and he was telling people, he's like, I have a demon attacking me. He's like, he would tell us, he's like, there's, and it was, at first it scared him. And then it seems like it overcame him and he just accepted it. And he would say it. He's
Yeah.
like, there's a demon. And then we hadn't seen him for a while. And we went to his house. And I'd never been to his house before. And I wanted to leave instantly. I was like, Trey, I don't want to be here. Like,
Well, where they actually had owned a bar for years, and it was just out in this up north from here, just completely out in the middle of nowhere bar off this highway. But there's a four corners right there, but it's highway speeds at both the intersection there. You're coming down off a hill on the one side and it meets the highway, and then on the other side. And there's been a crazy amount of like car wrecks there. Like tons of people have died
Mhm.
at that corner. It's just been like,
and that's right where they live.
and there was like for
Yeah.
years, I remember like because they had that when I was pretty young when they got that place, and they had like his brother had crazy like there was all sorts of crazy haunting things going on. Like there was a bad energy there, but I never recognized like that stuff before really. So, but they had all sorts of like pretty dark, um, demonic type entities that seemed to just hang out in that area. But nobody knew how to clear it. We didn't even think
Yeah.
about clearing any of that stuff. But yeah, so
Right.
I think it was
When
the last time we
that was the last
Yeah.
time we saw him, but when we saw him, like, whatever was attached to him
It wasn't
did not
him.
like me. It didn't like me either.
Oh yeah, I was.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was the
And he was always loved Mary. Was so like we had the best times together all the time. Like he
and yeah, that night when we saw him, I was excited. Like, oh man, we haven't seen Melvin for a long time. We're gonna hang out with him. And he said really, really mean, offensive things to me that night. And I was just like, what is happening? Like,
it was weird.
like things Melvin would have never said to me. And he like
Mhm.
hurt my heart because I was just like, what is going on here? Like, you know,
Yeah.
It was just, remember just going
The
to
darkness.
there to go, because we went to go
Yeah.
pick him up, and it was such crazy negative energy.
I'm
Like
like, we
I
need
could
to
even
go
feel
right
it then.
now.
Like it was thick. It was like there was not good energy there, and it's like I don't usually even feel that,
Mhm.
but like I could feel it was not good then. Like me and Mary were both like, we just want to we need to get out
Yeah,
of here.
let's just
Like,
get him and go.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
he was just
Yeah.
super mean. Like, I'm like, I don't care if I ever hang out with him again after that. I'm like, I don't know what that was. That was weird.
It wasn't him. That wasn't
Right.
him.
No, it wasn't.
That was the energy. That was the energy talking through him to you. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was terrible
So
because
so what happened with Melvin then?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like we didn't reckon, like we knew there was something, but like I mean, looking back, it really sucks that we couldn't just do something for him, because
that is a regret.
he was reaching out saying, you know,
Telling people I have this thing.
but he was just like you didn't want to be around him, so you know that's it. Like pushed everybody out and really took over, because it's like, well, I don't really want to hang out with him, you know. But it's like that was it really sucks. Well, then it wasn't super long after that he actually committed suicide right next, like probably 150 feet from the front door of our other weekend house that we have up there, and had killed himself in the park right next to where we were. So then my brother had called me, told me, and we went up there
to his house.
We went to his house. Well, when we got there, there was a couple that was just basically just living at his place, because his dad had passed away, and then Melvin was just there by himself. Well, they had turned the bar just into a house, but there was this couple that I'd never even met living there, and like going into that place was in like the craziest energy, and this lady is literally screaming crazy stuff, and like I had video of it. Like I took a video of her because she was like not a real person, almost like completely. It was like a terrifying video. Like it was so crazy. Like because I was like, I gotta film. This is insane. Like she was out of her mind, and it was rolling on the floor. Like yeah, it was. And so
she was possessed. She was possessed.
Yeah, well then that had to have been like going into that place is when whatever that was, whether it was what was attached to Melvin or something else, but at that point, whatever that was followed me home. And
yep, I remember me telling you that it attached to you once you got too close to that energy after he killed himself. You were near that area.
Right.
I remember telling you that because you picked up an energy that, I remember saying you picked up that energy.
So yeah, I was.
Well, it had got cleared, and I think it was actually after the church cleared us. Trey and his dad were driving home from their camping trip, and they stopped.
Well, my dad's truck actually. So my dad's truck broke down
right by
just up the road from where that was, and he blew his radiator hose. Well, they had a pickup that was exactly like his, and I mean, they were, both of them were gone, like, but all the stuff was still there. So I was like, I'll just take you down there, and we'll just pull the radiator hose off that truck and put it on your truck, and we can go. And that was I think something else sucked right into me.
Mad.
Yeah, she was like,
I'm like, when he told me, he's like, yeah, so we stopped at Melvin's and fixed his truck. And I'm like, "You went to his property?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like,
I was like, we were there
instantly,
for
I was
like
like,
5 minutes. I was like, we
"Oh,
just pulled this hose
no.
off.
Oh, no." And he's like, "It's fine, Mary." He's like, "What do you think's gonna happen?" And it's like, "Well, what I think's gonna happen is exactly what happened." And then that's when the thing
Mm.
started back up again.
Yeah, 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 and that's kind of what I kind of picked up was that that energy was impacting Trey at that time. Right. So, if we could you guys just kind of describe what it was, how things changed, and what you guys experienced when we started getting to work together and such? Could you kind of talk that maybe?
Mm-hmm.
I should be able to. You see it better than me seeing myself. I didn't.
Well, I mean, things just calmed down around here. Like,
None of the nighttime
and
sounds or anything.
and even the kids, because they'd see stuff. Bria would see stuff. Hunter
Mhm.
would see stuff. Like, um, they even noticed. They're like, "We don't see ghosts anymore around here." And it's almost a weird thing. It was almost. I'm not saying I don't even know if I should say this out loud, but it's almost because it's almost like something was missing because we were so used to having that once it was cleared, you had to adjust to, like, not always expecting, like, something, you know? Do you get what I'm saying? Or is that crazy?
I know exactly what you're saying. Often I'll tell the people that there will be residual energy, is what I'll say, because people will keep looking for
Yes.
those. They'll,
Yeah.
I'll say, make sure you don't, I'll suggest, do not invite those
No,
energies
I'm not
back. And
but
when looking, yeah, when you're looking for it, you're expecting it to be
Mhm.
there. So often I will tell the people, it's all okay. You're cleared. Things are good. Just don't keep looking for it. Just let that energy go. But people are used to the
Mhm.
door moving or things moving or hearing voices or Trey having unusual. So I totally understand that. And and when you guys are acknowledging, gosh, it's quiet, things have changed, that's enhancing that energy. Help remind me on this. Did we not bring in like God's light
We
energy into
did,
your house?
yeah.
Didn't we bring
We
in
totally, yeah.
so when we started running through the clearing of your house and the kids were first, of course, and then we went into your house. I remember asking permission, as best I can remember, was, Are we okay if we bring in some of God's light? Are you guys open with that?" And was there anything else that we added in? We put in like Mother Mary's energy as well, and or Jesus. Did we? I can't remember at your house. I do it differently for people with their beliefs and where they're at. What I remember putting God's divine energy in your house, on your property, in your house, making it was protected underneath the ground as well, and and all the energy was gone and clear, and we got Trey cleared, and I'm just wondering, what did we actually? I'm trying to remember
It was that, and you wanted me to
what
tap
exactly
into
did we
my
do?
feminine energy as well.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. But that was
And I was
important. It
confused.
was
I'm like,
important.
okay, like,
Because there's so much power in the feminine energy. It took me 2 years. I worked and tortured myself till I could finally accept it, acknowledge it, welcome it, and use it. And so it was important for you. I needed to share it with you. And I know when I tapped in there, I remember we had a big laugh about that. I was like, I know Trey, I know that you're a very masculine dude. You're very similar to me. Remember me
yeah.
saying, I go, we're very much alike. I said, but you need to consider this. And I can feel you squirming.
Hmm.
And I said, no, you need to understand the feminine energy. You need to start welcoming, understand, and find that balance because it helps you empower yourself. It's amazing energy. And so you did some of that work too, did you? Yeah,
As good as I could, yeah.
yeah. It's a tough thing for some of us guys. It really is. Two
But I mean,
years
you could even
I had to work
recognize,
on that
like,
one.
thinking back, like, after we did that and did the fire and everything, like, up to there was just, like, a lot of crazy tension in the house in general. Like, the kids would be at each other's throats, remember? And like,
Mhm.
a lot of that just had lifted up. But yeah, it was really affecting everybody, but like
Hmm.
mainly just protruding out of me or something. But yeah, there was a darkness in the house completely.
Mhm.
It was
Here's
Yeah.
the crazy
And
thing.
so did, didn't I ask you that we could bring the light
hmm
in and the divine
Yeah,
energy? Didn't we do
we
that?
did. Yeah,
We brought in God's energy
and
or
that was when
thine
you
or
and me
however you want to
first
call it, right?
talked. I think when we did all that, when she was gone.
We s- we started working through it right
Right.
away and bringing that energy to start clearing and cleansing your
Yep.
house and the kid.
hmm
And you, okay, right,
Yeah,
okay.
because you individually went through
So
each kid as we were on the phone that day, and
mhm,
me, of course.
yeah,
Well, we.
yep,
Um,
and yep,
I remember. So this was a crazy thing that happened during this time. So the original time, when we recognized, like the first time about when he said, "I feel like I'm possessed," and we had called that one healer that I told you about that night. He like did stuff with us, and we had to visualize stuff, and we had to visualize. He told us to visualize our no, to visualize our guides. He's like, I want you to visualize your spirit guides. And so
who did us?
that was
Who is
the
it?
healer guy that we called the night when everything got super crazy.
Oh, okay, okay,
We
okay.
thought it had worked, but it just made it mad. It was that night. And he told us to visualize our spirit guides. And so I'm visualizing mine and he's visualizing his. And I asked him, I'm like, can you see them? And he said, yeah, I can see them. And I asked him, I said, is mine white? I said, because what I was picturing was like an older gentleman with like blue eyes and like white hair, and he was in a white suit and just had a really friendly, loving face. Like that's what I was visualizing when I was visualizing my guide. And he said, he's like, yeah, yours is white. And then Trey chimes in and he said, he's like, is mine blue? He's like, because I'm visualizing blue. And he said, yes. He's like, yours is blue. So we had this white and blue, and it didn't hit me at the time, but it was like a couple days later when Hunter was little, because he would see things in the house. When he was little, he didn't
Yep.
know, like, he hadn't watched scary movies or to know anything. This was just his experience in life. And he would sometimes come in and tell us, he's like, oh, he's like, I saw the blue ghost. He'd call it the blue ghost. He'd be like, I saw the blue ghost in the house, but I'm not scared of him. Or I saw the blue ghost was in the backyard. And he would always talk about this blue ghost. And then it
Yeah.
hit me. I'm like, that's Trey's spirit guide, was the blue ghost that he wasn't scared of. Well, I don't know, it was probably 2 summers ago. Me and Trey will lay out in the yard a lot in the summertime and watch the stars. We'll just lay out and stargaze like all the time. And we were laying out there and I was looking over at the house, and along our house in front of my bedroom window, this little ball of white light just went floating by the window. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, Trey, did you just see that? And
Little orb,
he's like,
an orb.
that ball of white that just
Yeah.
went floating by the window. I'm like, you saw it too? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's crazy. Then, like, probably 15 minutes later, in between our house and our shed, this bright blue ball went floating up between there. And we both saw it. I'm like, "Did you see that one?" He's like, "The blue one that just went," and we both saw it. 2 little, and I'm like, "Those had to be our spirit guides." And we saw these
Yeah, your
little,
little
and I'm like,
orbs.
"That's probably exactly what Hunter saw, was his little blue ghost."
Yep, yep. No, Hunter's got a little energy power going on with him too. I remember tapping into him as well.
Mhm.
So if we were gonna sum up, just briefly, kind of this is where you guys laid it out real nice. What was the major the occurrence of the changes? What would you say, what happened in your words, just that you could share with people, just here's what we did, and here's what helped, and here's when you noticed the changes of trade being cleared, house being cleared, everything getting
I
good.
think when it really felt like we could take a breath of fresh air and, like, it's gone or they're gone, was after the campfire.
Mhm.
That's when I
Okay.
think it was like, there's nothing here anymore. Like, it's calm.
Okay.
But you were always waiting for
Awesome.
something for a period.
But nothing. And it another thing with that, when everything went away, I kind of started to feel, because I wasn't feeling things or seeing things, is I'm like, did I lose my gift? And I can't recognize it. That's how it made me feel, kind of like, instead of accepting that, okay, this stuff is gone, I'm like thinking, I think I think my gift is gone and I just am not feeling it anymore, but that was isn't the case, but that's how I felt for a while.
Okay. Okay. What was the major factors that you feel that we all implemented together that was the clearing aspect of the darkness? I'm just kind of sharing that for people who might have the same kind of experiences that they can say, here's what kind of hope we have out there.
Well, I mean, I think there's definitely a lot of hope, but like if it wasn't for Mary being there, like I would have just rode that forever to not like I mean, I've obviously if I've had stuff with me since I was a little kid, like I was pretty used to just having that and being able to just live with it and accept basically because it's like that's all I really knew. So not having somebody that can stare at you at nighttime while you're sleeping and recognize is kind of like recognizing something on you is one of the biggest ones because it's like I wouldn't have done that on my own without having somebody that could recognize that.
But then you also have to be willing to reach out for help,
Well, that is huge. Yeah.
you know? And it can take a team. And I mean, like Don and Tyler had worked on us for a while, and they knew that it was beyond what they could do. And then once they brought you in, like even that first day, that on that Monday when I wasn't even home and you started working on him, he already started to feel better,
hmm
started to feel lighter.
So yeah, it's
Mhm.
that's totally like
Is that what you're looking for? I'm not sure.
And I wanted you guys to just to be able to share, what were the changing factors? When did you see the changes, and what created those changes? And he was saying that Mary's awakening,
Mhm.
and her doing her work, and the family doing their work, and all the work that we did together is
But
all
I know
just so that other
the
people.
first time I talked to you,
Oh, yeah, it was a totally different thing because
the first time I talked to you, I was like, he's going to be able to help us. Like, there's going to be an end to this, you know? And I was super excited. Like, the first time I talked to you, I'm like, I know he's going to be able to get rid of these things for us. Like, I just knew, you know?
yeah, and it gave her definitely some confidence because you let her do some of the work on that and everything. But yeah, like with Dawn and Tyler, I mean, they're great, and that was what the best thing was with all of it is like they could see the stuff and they knew it was big, but to just have the whole support and then have you come in, and I felt exactly the same way. It was like when that all went, it was like now we're on the right track and we're where we need to be finding you. So I mean, there's definitely you'd always be hopeful on stuff, but it was a different feeling when we like actually connected with you. It's like this isn't just somebody that is going to try to help us, but it's just above what they can deal with right now. Not to say they couldn't possibly at some point, but like that they actually came together and reached out as a team, and like we all did so much work to work through all that, and to actually see the results on the other end was huge on.
Okay. Okay. No, yeah, it's a team effort.
Mhm.
It really is a team effort. We would all come together if it wasn't for everybody doing their parts. Like I say, we all need each other. to get to where we
Don't
are.
you remember
To
whenever we would try to do phone calls, your phone would act up or your rooster would go crazy? Do you remember that?
Yeah, at the
yes,
beginning,
they
we
didn't want
had
us
the
to talk.
worst, we couldn't, and then the one time we're talking to you and, like, the rooster's going, and then all of a sudden your phone just stops, and we don't hear from you for a
For a
couple
couple
days,
days.
and then you're like, "My phone completely just died, I had to go get a
You
new
remember
phone."
that? You had
Like,
to
it
get a new
wiped
phone.
your phone
While
completely
you were
out.
on the phone, it just wiped your phone out.
Yeah, we're like, "I don't know what happened, but I guess he's just gone now." Like, and there was a couple of you're like, "I'm so sorry." Like, you're like, "My phone died then, and it's just I had to get a new phone. It completely broke."
And I remember Dawn before, um, she was trying to get a hold of Trey, and her phone deleted his number completely off out of her phone. She's like, I saved Trey's contact in here,
Yeah,
and she's like, it's gone. Everything's gone. Even our text message and everything are just off of her phone.
yeah. They tried to stop us, but we as a team, everybody came together. Tyler, Don, you guys, Mary, Awakening, Trey, you got on board. We needed you on board, Trey. We couldn't have, we needed you. Just it's like we needed
Mhm.
everybody to come
I
together. And
remember,
then when we brought in the divine light into your house, and we manifested the removal of the dark energy, and we are where we are now, which is it's all God's glory. There, we're just a hangnail on the hand, but you guys did fantastic work, and where you guys are now is magical. Where you were, and where you are is fantastic. Did you have something to
I
say, Mary? I'm
remember
sorry.
you saying, you tapped in and you met his interdimensional being. And I remember you
Yeah,
saying that he was telling you, he's like, I'm not gonna leave. And you said to
yeah,
him, yes, you are. You're going to. But he was like telling you, like, I don't want to leave. I'm not gonna leave. I remember you telling us that because you're like, he's being reluctant or it's whatever. And but you flat out told him, like, no, you're gonna leave, you know?
yep, yes. That's what we do. We gave them actually. What I do is I just tap in and bring the divine light directly from source, God, thine, whatever you want to call it, whatever. It's not for me to tell people what it is, but that's what we do. We battle those energies with the direct source energy of that light and love it, and that's how we send those energies away. Is we send it to those, even if they want to play and they think that they can stay, they don't understand that the omnipotent power is the omnipotent power. And so when we started doing your work, that's what we sent to that entity, and to send it away because it did want to battle. It was tough. It was big. It took a big process for all of us to come together. Like I said, it was a team effort. It's a pretty amazing story, and I so appreciate you guys sharing your time with me, and just your viewpoints and what you experienced, and just I'm just so thankful to to meet you guys face to face.
Right.
Is Sorry, this is really fun for me to get to see you guys. You guys are my family now. Once we get to do work like this, your family. And now I get to see you guys. I get to Montana. I'd love to meet up and have lunch or something, and visit with you
For
guys.
sure.
It'd be my honor to get to hang out with you guys live,
Mm.
and I
We
so
need to have
appreciate your time.
the 5 of us all get together, you and me and Mary and Dawn and Tyler, and I think that'd be
Wouldn't
really
that be
cool.
something?
Sit around a
That
bonfire
would be
or something like
fantastic.
that and actually get a connection.
No, absolutely. That Yeah. Let's put that out there. Let's try to manifest that energy.
For
That would be a
sure.
fantastic meeting. Absolutely. So I want to go ahead and wrap it up here if we could. Thank you again so much. I so appreciate it. Um, I guess what I was gonna ask is, like, just maybe if you guys could, like, maybe grab 2 or 3 things that you guys would share with other people who might have been, that this might have resonated with, and they've listened to your whole story and our experience and our journey together on this one. And, what would be, like, your most important, most valuable or meaningful aspect of, what did you get out of this experience? Is what I would ask. What would you say?
I guess, for me, I'd say don't ignore, like, a problem when that something like that starts. Like, if you can recognize feeling a shift, and if somebody's telling you from the outside, like, because I would was in a crazy denial because it's like I didn't want to believe that, and I don't know if that probably wasn't actually me, but it's like you need to you should don't wait as long as I did to act on something because it definitely does not get better. It's not going to just go away on its own. So I would
Mm-hmm.
definitely, if there was any advice I get, is try to recognize shifts in your energies and behaviors and moods and everything, and and try to work that through before it
And I
comes to
would
a
say
head. Like,
just because if something paranormal is going on in your home, but it doesn't scare you or feel evil, don't allow it to stay. Because that's
Mm-hmm.
what happened with me is I knew something was off, but it didn't scare me and it didn't feel like some ma- malevolent thing thing.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt like, oh, there's just some little ghost, messing with us, hanging out, visiting, whatever. So I let it stay for way longer and get more comfortable in our home. And we became more comfortable with it. And then it feels like it gained more and more power and and then started
Mm-hmm.
getting, to where it was turning him into something he's not. Cause we just let it stay for way too
Yeah.
long
mhm.
because it didn't feel
Okay.
scary. It didn't feel evil, you know?
That's part of how they play
Yeah.
it. They want to stay. They want to continue to take and drain your energy from you, and take that away from you. That's just great information. Thanks for sharing that
Mhm.
insight, you guys. At this point here, I would just for those individuals who are out there who got to hear this amazing experience through my precious friends in Montana here. Um, and I just like to say that I hope that it resonates with those of you who are looking for help out there. That there is help out there. Hopefully, we can connect accordingly. Please feel free to go to intotherealm.com if you have any questions or concerns, and want to invite you, those of you who are out there listening, and know that you're welcome to join in this. We want to bring everybody together and try to make a change on the planet and rid the darkness. And we don't have a perfect plan, but we're going to go step by step, one by one, and do what we can as a group, as a team. We all need each other. And I guess I would say we want to welcome and give permission to all the individuals who are out there, all the energies and souls that are out there who are on their path, awakening, and those who are on their path and wanting to expand their gifts, like both Trey and Mary did. Um, and we want to welcome you on this journey together, and we welcome you, and we give you permission to expand yourself as well, and find the best meaning for your path. Thank you all for being a part of this cast. You guys take
Thank you.
care. Bless you both. I can't
Yeah,
wait. Thank you so much for your
Well,
time.
thank
we'll be in
you
touch.
for
Yeah, I
everything you've
appreciate it.
done. Like, you've helped us out a lot.